everybody, it's Norma, and I have yet another haul video for you, but this, I promise you, is something different. As you guys may or may not know, Bath and Body Works had sent out a mystery coupon last weekend where you could get up to 40% off. And I do not get any emails from Bath and Body Works. And I used to get emails from White Barn, but I don't get those anymore. I don't know why, because I'm like there like all the time. But I don't get the emails. So one of the members in my Facebook group was kind enough to forward me the 40% off email, and you've seen the whole video for that. Well, they also have a 3-day grace period. So the coupon expired on Sunday, and the grace period expired yesterday, Wednesday. Today's Thursday, November 5th. And I kept thinking about that coupon because there was something at White Barn that I really, really wanted to get. You saw I got the Snowflake Hurricane, which I love. I'm very happy about that. You know, I picked up my pumpkin pie. I wanted my sparkling pear Riesling, but there was something else I wanted. And that was what you see before you now. These are the Luminara candles. They are LED candles, and they're supposed to have a very realistic flame. And the reason I wanted these was mostly not for me, but for my mom. I decorate her house for fall, Christmas, and then I do like a spring, summer thing. And she lives in Ohio, so I have to, go down there and make a special trip, plan everything out. Because once I get down there, there's nothing. I mean, it's a small town. All they have is a Walmart. And then I have to go to the next town over, which is like 20, 30 minutes away, if I want to find like a Myers. And they have it's a smaller Myers, not the big one like I have here. Well, it's a big Myers, but their home department isn't as big. And last time I was down there to decorate for the fall, I'd gotten her some hurricanes that I picked up at Home Goods, and using some of the stuff that we got last year. And I was just trying to put more candles out because she really enjoys the LED candles. She will not burn a real candle. She's afraid of fire. She won't do it. But she really has been enjoying the LED candles at night. And I got her a centerpiece system from Yankee, which she keeps forgetting to turn on because she can't smell anything anyway, so whatever. So it's like, all right, the LED candles have been a hit. Well, I'm a candle burner. I love the look of the real flame. Yeah, I like the scent, but to be honest with you, I'm really all about the flame and the ambiance even more than the scent. There was a period in my life, as some of you guys may know, I used to sell party light candles. I mean, I've always been into candles. After I stopped selling party light, just because, things changing in my life, there was a period of time where all I did was scentless candles. I did white scentless pillars. And I did that for a couple years, and then I just stopped burning candles altogether. I think I stopped burning for about 10 years or so. So it's just been in the last few years where I've really gotten back into candles. Well, unfortunately, I'm kind of leaning toward going back toward my scentless pillar days because it seems like so many candles out there are scentless, and it's really, really frustrating. And, we've been talking about it in my Facebook group about, Yankee Candle, and specifically where, why do we have to burn so many candles just to scent our house? I don't live in a mansion. I don't live in a large house. I live in a 1,000 square foot condo. Why do I have to light 20 candles and I still can't smell anything? It's just really, really frustrating. So I'm like at the point where I want to start cutting back on the amount of candles I'm burning. For one, it's very, very high maintenance. It takes me, a good half an hour to go around, trim all the wicks, light everything up. And it's just like, I don't want to do that anymore. I still want my candles. I'm not stopping burning or anything like that. I still want my candles, but I want to cut down on the maintenance. and still have the ambiance. So for my mom, for the last couple years, I've really been eyeing these Luminara candles that I've seen at the White Barn store, and lately they've shown up at the Myers. I know you can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond, QVC. I mean, there's other ways you can get them if you don't have a White Barn near you. So I decided to use that 40% off coupon, because the one thing that's been holding me back from buying these candles is they're pretty darn pricey. They had 3 sizes at the White Barn. You see 2 sizes before you today. They have the small, the medium, and the large. I got the small and the medium. The large was larger than I wanted. You know, if you have like a fireplace or someplace where you can, you know, do a candlescape with pillars, you know, you could probably get away with a large. I have a small place. I basically wanted them to go on hurricanes or on a, you know, small average size pillar holder. And I have to say, I am really, really happy with these. Yeah, they're pricey, even with the 40% off. The small size, which is this size here, is $50. And with the 40% off coupon, it came down to $30. The medium size are $60, and with the 40% off, it came down to $36. And then the large size were normally $70, and I didn't even, you know, ask them to figure out what the cost was with the coupon, because I knew I wasn't not going to be getting that size. So basically with the coupon, it was $30 and $36, normally $50 and $60 at the White Barn. Now, they come in these containers, which are very elegant looking, and the ones at the White Barn do come with a remote control, and it's basically on off. Now, I'm not going to show you the remote control because I have mine set on a timer, which I don't want to mess up. So basically you have the timer, then you have your off and your on, and it's a 5-hour timer, so it's like 5 hours on, 19 hours off. They do take some pretty hefty batteries. They take 2 of these, 2 of the D batteries. So, you know, most of the regular LED battery operated candles that are out there that I've bought for my mom take either the AA or the AAA. And, you know, there are some that are better than others. Myers had a brand that I think it's called Eye Flicker that aren't too bad. I mean, they kind of look like this, but just not quite as realistic. And I like those probably the best of some of the other ones I've tried. But last time I was down there, you know, we had gotten some more hurricanes and stuff, and I didn't realize, I should have known, but I thought for sure that at least at her local Myers, I would have been able to find some of the Eye Flicker candles and to buy, you know, the extra ones that we needed. And apparently they had they didn't know what happened. They either discontinued the candles at that particular store, or they had sold out, but they had nothing. So I decided that I don't really like the look of those cheap dollar store candles, which is where we end up finding, you know, the candles. And my mom's happy with them. She doesn't know the difference. You know, for her, it's just, you know, it lights up and it, you know, it looks pretty in the container that we have them in. But to me, it bothers me because it doesn't look like a real candle. These do. Now, if you go into your White Barn and you look at them, they're kind of going to look like they do right now. I mean, they're interesting looking when you see them in the store, but they shine and they come to their own light and their own glory when you take them at home and you have the right lighting conditions. And I'm just really, really impressed with these. So the point of this video is I just kind of want to show you how they look in a home setting. And, you know, I wanted you guys to see the sizes in case you were considering getting these. Now I have before me here a Yankee Candle large jar, and as you can see, you know, this is the small. It's comparable to a small candle, and the medium is larger. So if you're thinking about getting any of these candles to put in your existing hurricanes, the small candle is probably the way you want to go. Retails $50, because I think you're going to get the most versatility, because it is similar in size to a large jar. Like even the bottoms, you know, a little bit wider, but pretty darn close. And these I think are good for like standing alone. You want to put on a pedestal, or if you have like a larger size hurricane or lantern. So I'm just going to try these, you know, in some random pieces that I have, and let's see how they look. Okay, first of all, I dim the lights so you can get a better feel for what they look like. Now, the moving part here is actually like moves with a magnet from what I heard, and then there's like an LED light that shines on it. And these are actually designed by someone at Disney. So there's, you know, a lot of technology that went behind these to make them look realistic. And I mean, I'm just really impressed. So in the back, let's move this stuff out of the way. I have, oh, before I do that, I showed you the scent comparison with a Yankee candle. Here's a Kringle candle. This is the medium. This is the small compared to a Kringle. Here we have a Yankee, and then that's the medium size, just so you get the size comparison in case you don't know what size to buy. I do believe they may come in other type of sizes. I've seen at Myers they have a box where it's like a 3x5 or like a 5-inch and a 7-inch, something like that. I did take a picture, so I'll just like put that at the very end of the video in case that's the style that you see. But at the White Barn, they just come in small, medium, large. They don't have dimensions on either the bottom of the candle or on the box. So unless I actually measure it for you, I can't tell you. But yeah, so small, medium, Kringle, large jar, Yankee. Okay, so I have some containers behind there, and these have real candles in them. So I just want to show you guys what they look like, the real candle compared to the Luminara candle. Okay, so first up, this is one of my favorite hurricanes. It's a little bit taller than some of the other ones that you can get. This is a Yankee Candle hurricane. I think it's Sunset Mosaic. So right now I have a large jar Yankee in there. I am going to put, let's see if I can take it out without burning myself. Yeah, it's a little hot. I am going to put the small pillar in it. Okay, that looks very pretty. Now I'm going to put the medium-sized pillar, and this is a tall enough hurricane that it still fits without sticking out. So you can kind of see the effect there. So that's the medium. That's the small. Okay, and this is the real candle that's almost done. So obviously because it's done, the flame is lower. So you can see, I didn't see too much difference except where that white light is compared to where the flame is. Let's try the next one. Okay, now this hurricane is narrower than the sunset mosaic that I just showed you. And it's still on the tall side, but not, I don't think it's quite. No, they're pretty close in height. But as you can see, it's a lot narrower. This is a wider jar. So, and right now I have, in this one, I have a large jar Kringle candle. So I'm going to try to take it out. It's fully pulled out, so I have a feeling it's going to probably extinguish itself. Yeah, it did. And I am going to put the medium. Oh, it does fit. My hand may not. Okay, so that's what it looks like with the medium in there. Very pretty. Very pretty. It lights up the whole thing. And let's try it. I'm sorry, that was a small, right? This is the medium. This is the medium. It fits as well. As you can see, you know, it's, hang on. The medium is coming near the top of the hurricane, so I definitely would not want a large size in these Luminara candles if I was going to put in the hurricanes. The medium fits in these, but they come close to the top. And like I said, the small size is closer to, you know, your jar candles. If you have a Yankee candle, a Village candle, a Goose Creek candle, and you want to put, you know, the Luminara candles in the hurricanes that you've been using for those, you want to go with the small. So I got my Fairy Frost lantern back there, so let's see how that one does. Okay, so right now I have a Kringle candle in there that is probably has about a third or a fourth of the candle left. And let's take that one out carefully. Oops. And I'm going to put the small Luminara candle. Illuminates the whole thing. And let's try the medium size and see if it even fits. Now see that? Because this is shorter than the other hurricanes. As you can see, there's a height difference there. The medium candle, you can't see it from here if you're looking straight ahead, but if you look at it this way, you know, it's just hitting the top of the candle. So that's kind of a close call. If you had this somewhere where you weren't looking down into it, that might be okay. But the closer you get, the more you can see that that candle is kind of not really fitting in there right. But as far as illumination goes, it looks fine. So that was the medium. And the small. Okay, so let's go on, and I have a couple other holders that I want to test these out in. Okay, so this is my lantern. This is my large size lantern, and I don't know if you guys can put them in there. And right now what I have in here is I have a 22-ounce colonial candle. So I'm going to carefully take this out, and I am going to substitute, first of all, the small size Luminara. looks pretty good. Now let me put in the medium. Now for this, because this is a pretty large lantern, I almost like the medium size in here. I don't think the tall size, well, the tall size would probably work in this one as well, but I don't have the tall. So I think that looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. See if we can get in closer. Okay, I'm going to put the colonial candle back in. Okay, I think the real candle is a little bit brighter, but it's not a huge difference. Okay, now this is my smaller size lantern that I know a lot of you picked up recently from Pier 1. And this will hold a large jar Yankee candle, but it will not fit the 22-ounce colonial candle. So here we have the small pillar. Beautiful. And then let's try the medium size. And that won't fit. It actually will, but I have to kind of maneuver it. And then it doesn't show up that as nicely. That's the medium. And that's the small. Okay, one more. Okay, and this is my lamp that I got from Yankee Candle. Right now I have a Yankee Candle large jar in here. And this accessory, I actually have two of these lamps. I have this one here in my living room, and then I have one in the hallway. This accessory is the main reason why I wanted to get the Luminara candles, because I haven't been happy with anything that I have put in here. I like the look of the Bath & Body Works candle when you first light it, because you have the 3 wicks and it really lights everything up. But there's a base in here where the candle sits, and then once the candle gets down low, it doesn't have the same illumination. So I really like my Luminara candles in here. So there we have it. That is the medium. I'm sorry. I keep saying medium because I don't think of this as a small candle. This is the small candle. And that is the medium. Once again, I don't have the large, but the large would be too big even for this, I think. So it's just going to be a preference, a personal choice as to what I think looks best in this. I still kind of prefer the small. Yeah, I like the small better. I think it illuminates it more. So, the whole point of this was just to kind of give you guys an idea. If you're considering buying any of these candles, you got to consider what you want to use them for, where you want to put them. If you're just going to put them on like a mantle, a shelf, the size may not matter. It's going to, you may want one of each size, depending on what your candlescape's going to look like. Or if you're going to put them on a pedestal, consider the size of the room you have, the alcove, wherever you're going to put them. But if you're going to be putting them in hurricanes and lanterns, then you need to consider the size of your lantern in hurricane. And like I said, the small is similar to a jar size candle, and the medium was a little bit bigger than the large size Kringle. And I think, the most versatile size is the small size. And of course, it's the cheaper size. Because like I said, retail at the White Barn, they're running $50. I know you can get some Luminara candles at Bath & Body Works, and you can use your 20% off coupon. I am not sure of the price there. I've seen them at Myers, I'm not sure what size it is either. There's something that Myers for like $39.99. QVC has been having some specials on them, so you might want to check out QVC. But I am really impressed with these candles. You know, like I said, I just have not been happy with any of the battery operated candles I get from my mom. So I'm going to start with, you know, these that I got her, and eventually I think maybe replace, you know, the majority of them, because the other ones, I mean, once you have these, you're just not going to go back to those cheap dollar store LED candles. They just don't work for me. So anyway, if you guys like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe below, and have a blessed day.